Okay, starting with number 1, it says that the rate of change is what it wants. A lot of people thought the answer was D, 2, but the answer is A, 100. That is because you are moving up 100 from 50 to 150 and then over 1 from 0 to 1. Rise over run would be 100 over 1, not 2 over 1. Now let's talk about number 2. On number 2, this is the expression, and the answers are the equivalent to that expression. If you put what's in the problem in Y1 and then the answer choices in Y2, you can find the answer just by checking to see if they match. So we go to the Y equals screen and type those in. From there, we go to the table, and now I see that they match. So the answer is G. Number 3. It's already been worked out, so hopefully you've read the question, but it does say that the lower deck is $42 each, so that's 42x. And then it says that the upper deck is 75% of the lower deck. So you have to do 0.75 times 42, which gives you 31.5. The answer is not A or C, leaving it B or D. Why is the answer B? It says no more than 800. That means less than or equal to 800. Because if I have no more, I can't go over. I have to be less. The answer is B. Now we do number 4. Number 4 says it wants A and C to be less than 0. That means A has to be negative. It has to point down. And C, it has to be negative. Well, remember, C is the y-intercept. So H is the only answer choice where A and C are both negative, meaning it points down and it crosses the y-axis at a negative number. Now we're going to do number 5. And I am looking for number 5. Here it is. On number 5, this is an easy question. It says linear function. So we automatically know to do a linear regression. And in the calculator, it says lin reg. Put the x values in list 1, and then put the y values in list 2. Hit stat edit to get there. After you've done that, let me model that real quick. Stat edit is what I pressed. Here's the edit button. And then I need to put at least 2 points. Negative 7.5, negative 3.5, come over, put 12, and then put 0. From there, hit stat again, go over to calc, and there is your linear regression number 4. Once you do that, come on down, make sure your lists are correct. And then it gives you the answer. Plug in your A, plug in your B. So negative 3x minus 10.5, which is answer choice A. So whenever you need to do a linear regression, follow that process. Now, on answer choice, or excuse me, number 6, this goes in Y1. This is a quadratic equation. If you set it equal to 0, right now it just looks like a polynomial. But it wants to know which expression is equivalent. Like, this is a calculator problem. Put this in Y1, put each answer choice in Y2, and look to see if Y1 and Y2 match. Well, they do not, so the answer is J. Now, yes, you can go in and multiply the answer choices to see which of these multiplies out to be this one, but that is a longer process. We will go over that Saturday if you show up. We'll be here from 9:30 to 11:30. If you don't come Saturday, you just use the calculator method. Now let's find number 7. Okay, good. On number 7, you really do not have to solve for y, but if you wanted to, you would move this over by subtracting, makes it cancel. And then this is negative 0.5x plus 3. And I switch these so that it is in mx plus b form. I bring down my negative. I divide by negative 2, which makes the inequality symbol flip. Which means this has to be shaded below. But you really didn't need to know that information for this problem because 2, negative 1 is on the line. Given that 2, negative 1 is on the line, it is a solution because this line is solid. Number 8 is, it's an equation and wants you to find x. So this is also a calculated problem. Put the left side in y1, put the right side in y2, and then look for the intersection. When you do, it tells you the answer is 1/5. So let's do that real quick. And you type in -5x. Be careful, that should be a negative, not a minus sign. So you use this button, not that one, when you type in the -5. So -5 minus, open parentheses, -7, and you notice how the negative sign is smaller than the minus sign. Okay, good. Minus 4x, close it, come down and put in -2, parentheses, 3x minus 4. We graph it. And now look for the intersection, and that command is second, hit the trace button, and then hit the intersect, which is 5, and just hit the enter button, 3 times. When you do that, you get 0.2. Well, that is the same thing as 1/5, and if you're not sure, you can do 0.2 math, hit the math button, and then hit frac, and it gives you 1/5. Okay, moving on, let's do number 9. Number 9, this is a linear function. I know that because it says it. So all you have to do on number 9 is a linear regression, lin reg. Type in the x values in x1, the y values in y2, and you get the answer choice A. I think I just went backwards, did I? Okay, I'm not sure. Nonetheless, we're going to keep going. So if you notice that the video went backwards, I apologize. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. Oh, I guess the order of the packet it's not in order. Okay, I apologize. Moving on, we all make mistakes. Number 10, which expression is equivalent to this one here? Very simple. You will divide, not subtract. When you divide, that is 7/4. Then you take the exponents and subtract them because this is a fraction, so you are dividing. When you subtract, you get 6 for A as the exponent, 3 as the exponent for B, and then -5 for C. From there, you place them where they need to go so that they stay positive. So I'm going to put A to the 6th at the top, B to the 3rd at the top, and then move C down so that the exponent is positive, and the answer is H. Moving on, number 11. Linear function f of x equals x is graphed on a coordinate plane. So I want to know what happened when I made the slope 2/3 and the y-intercept 4. Well, the slope is originally 1 because that is mx plus b, so 1x plus 0, and b is 0. So b would be 4 here because it said change it to 4. That means it's going to go up. The slope is 1. My slope is going to be 2/3. It becomes smaller. And that means it's less steep. And since it is less steep, that is answer choice B for the new line. And then it translated up. Remember, whenever your y-intercept moves up, you are translating up. Or a better way of saying it, whenever it is larger, whenever your y-intercept is increasing, it's going to translate up. Let's do number 12. On number 12, it says quadratic. So immediately I think, can I do a quadratic regression? Well, I have to in this problem. So do your quadratic regression. It's just like the lin reg. You're going to do, follow the same process. Press stat edit. Put your x values in list 1, your y values in list 2. And then from there, you're going to get an equation. It will be a quadratic equation. Once you get that equation, graph it so that you can see what this looks like. And when you graph it, you will look at the range, the y values, and you'll notice that they are greater than or equal to -8. So that means when you graphed it, the graph was down here, and the lowest point was -8. But because the graph was pointing up, you had to choose greater than or equal to. And this is the lowest number. Moving on to number 13. On number 13, we're going to skip that and do that one in class. Let's go ahead and do numbers 14 and 15. On number 14, really simple. I have 2 points, and I want to know what the what is it asking? What is the y-intercept? So where does it cross the y-axis? Well, it looks like it's 5.5 because it's between 5 and 6, but you want to make sure. So what do? You take these 2 points and put them into stat edit and do a linear regression. When you do that, it will give you the equation and it will say B is 5.5, and you know you got it right. Number 15, that's a calculator problem. What do? You put this in Y1 and you put each answer choice in Y2. And when you do that, Y1 will match Y2 for answer choice C. Number 16. Which statement about K of X is true? Well, all I have to do is put this in Y1 and put the factorization in Y2 and see which one is correct. So again, when you look at Y1, it will match Y2. That's how you know it's correct. And that makes the answer choice be G. So this is a calculator problem. So hopefully, if you are needing help plugging these in to check, we can do it Monday in class, because I know you don't have a graphing calculator at home. You might have a scientific calculator at home, but not a graphing, and you need a graphing calculator to use the method that I just explained on number 16. Number 17, I can look at the graph and tell that it's exponential, meaning I can take these points and plug them into the calculator and do an exponential regression. When you do that, it will give you this equation. We'll type that into the calculator and look on the table for when x is 40. When you do that, the answer is really close to 800,000. Or you can just draw and guesstimate what's going to happen at 40. So hopefully you've read this and you see that it wants it at 40. When I go to 40, which is this last one, it's almost at 800,000. Answer is D. Now let's do number 18. On number 18, very simple. You do have to solve for y, so minus 3x minus 3x. Put the x first so that it looks like mx plus b. Then bring down the negative, divide by -4. That becomes a positive, and then that is 3 over 2. So the answer is J. Moving on, number 19. It says linear function, so we know we're dealing with something that will produce a line. It asks for the rate of change. That's another way of identifying if the problem is linear or not. Rate of change is slope. So do a linear regression by putting these in list 1, these in list 2, and it will tell you what the slope is. Now in the 84, it says A is -9 over 2. That's the slope. But we know we use M in class because it's mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, moving on. We're going to do number 20. I thought the video was going to be a lot longer than this, but so far we're at 14 minutes. Number 20, not that hard. It says that the total is 21 for the coffee mugs and the keychains. So I'm going to say C plus K equals 21. And then it says that the mugs cost $8.50 each and the keychains cost $2.75 each. So you set that up as 8.50C plus 2.75K equals 132.5. Now, the 132.5 comes from right here because it says that the total is $132.50. So you put the money, the total, in with the equation that talks about money. Now I have two equations and I need to figure out C and K. C standing for coffee mugs and K standing for keychains. So now here's a calculator method that will actually help you to solve a system, because that's what this is. What you have to do is make sure that your equations are in standard form. So I'm going to change this to say C plus K equals 21. And now put that into the matrix. You hit second matrix. Second, and I am hitting this button right here, matrix. Now go over to edit and change this to a 2 by 3 because you have 2 equations and then you have 3 terms. Come on down. Now put in the coefficients. That means the number in front of the letters. 850, and the number in front of C is 1, not 0. And then there's a 1 here, and then there is 2.75 here, and then 132.5 here. Uh-oh, I did not press enter. 132.5, enter, and then I come down here and put 21, enter. And so then after I do that, I go back to the matrix screen, so second matrix, and I have to tell it what command. It's letter B, R, R, E, F, not A. You have to choose B, the one with 2 R's. Press enter after you come out of the screen. So do not do that. Get out of this screen. Second, quit. Now go back in and get that command and put it here on the calculator screen. And then go back and select the matrix under names. Press enter, and there it is, 13 and 8. Because I put C in this column and K in this column, C is 13 and K is 8. This question wants to know how many coffee mugs, so the answer is 13. One more time. I put C in this column right here. C is in the first column. K was in the second column. So this 1 stands for C, this 1 stands for K. So C is 13 and K is 8. You have to be careful because if you choose the answer is 8, you will get it incorrectly. Number 21. It says, based on the graph, which statement about the function is true? Well, I know that the range represents ladder steps. And so this graph is approaching 0, but the graph visits all the values that are above 0. So the answer is C. Moving on to number 22. It wants to know the sum. So this one is easy. You take 156 and you set it equal to n squared plus n. So replace the s with 156. After you do that, move it over so that it's equal to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. N squared plus n minus 156 equals 0. So what do you want now? I want to know when will n equal, or when will the y value, equal 0. So what are the values of n? Now to do that, you go to the y equals screen and type in x squared plus x minus 156, press graph. And it doesn't really matter if you put it in y1 or y2. I don't see it because the y-intercept is negative 156. Nonetheless, I can still go to the table, second graph, and look for the 0. And when I go all the way down, I see that 0 happens at 12. So the answer to this problem is 12. Okay, moving on to number 23. I have to solve for y. So I have a negative 3x. I add 3x to both sides. That gives me 3x minus 15. And then this is not negative, so I divide by a positive 5. And my answer is 3x over 5 minus 3, and it's cut off right there. So let me come over here and write it. Y equals 3 over 5x plus, no, that's minus 3. Let's talk about why it's minus. This negative right here on the 15 makes that minus. Okay, so I need a graph that crosses the y-axis at negative 3, which is right here. And then the slope is 3 over 5, so up 1, 2, 3, to the right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the answer is B. So now we're on number 24. Let me find 24. On 24, it wants to know what happens to the graph when the A value is 7. Well, the bigger the A, the more narrow the graph is. The smaller A, the wider it is. So this graph will be narrower. So the answer is F. It will not move 7 units down or 7 units up unless it's sitting in the C spot. So that would mean move up. This would mean move down. It has to be the C, the y-intercept. Moving on to 25. Which expression is a factor of 36x squared minus 49? Just split this up. I know that the square root of 36 is 6, the square root of 49 is 7, so the answer has to be D. That's difference of squares. I know that because you're subtracting perfect squares. Number 26. All you need to do is put these points into a table and do a linear regression. After you do the linear regression, x values less 1, y values less 2, and you go back and hit stat, and then go over to calc and hit lin regression, number 4, you will then have the answer as H. Number 27. This one is easy. Go ahead and type this into the y equals screen and look on the table for when x is negative 8. The y value will say 54. And that's your answer. Now, how do I know that? Because f of x is what this used to say. Now it says f of negative 8. Therefore, x had to be negative 8. Moving on. Now we have to do number 28. We're going to skip 28 and let's do 29. Oh, this one's easy. On number 29, move the 32 over, so it is negative 32 on the left side. Type this into the y equals screen, and I want to know what is the x value when y is 0. So really I'm looking for the zeros. Okay, so what is this one? What is this one? And apparently on this graph they're both positive. So let me redraw that so that you see the parabola graphed correctly. I'm really messing that up. I should have just graphed it in the calculator. Let me do that. Try to sketch it real quick because the bell's about to ring. I didn't want the bell to be in the video, but you can't rush math. So x minus 7, then square it, minus 32, and then we graph. And I see that one of them is right here at 3. And then I have to look on the other side. But if you look at the answer choices, there's only one answer that has a 3 in it, so the answer has to be C. So yeah, I apologize about that. My graph was really, really, really bad. Try again. You are not the weakest link. Okay, moving on. Number 30. The answer is H, because I want the domain, and the domain represents the independent variable, or what's in the x spot. What's in the x spot is uniforms. Well, the only thing in this problem talking about uniforms is how many players. If you have 8 to 12 players, you need 8 to 12 uniforms. And you can't have half a uniform, so this is discrete. The answer is H. We'll stop at 30, and I'll put questions 31 through however many are left on the next video. Thank you for your time, and good luck.